Hope you had a good lunch and are not going to sleep in the afternoon class. Okay. Balaji, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next one is annual policy. You may ask, sir, so many policies are annual policies, like special regulation policy, open policy, open cover, everything is annual. But why this policy is annual policy? We don't know, but the name given is annual policy, right? Very simple explanation for this is the annual policy is one where the policy is issued to cover insured goods which are not under contract of sale. For example, a person who is owning a garment factory may send the goods for screen printing, may send for tailoring, for cutting, for dyeing, for so many purposes. The insured may be taking his own goods on his own vehicles. It is not under sale of contract. Very simple. There is no sale. Such transits are covered by annual transit policy. Yes, sorry, annual policy, right? You just understand when there is no sale, goods are on transit belonging to the insured in his own vehicles. It's only inland transit, not abroad. Minimum premium is 5,000 rupees. One important point you should understand, for open policy, what is the sum insured? It is the turnover or it is the expected turnover of the coming year. But in annual policy, it is like what do you call it as single transit limit, just like in money in transit policies. The sum insured should represent the total value of goods on road on any given point of time. That's all. That will be the sum insured. Because there are so many transits happening, the goods may be going out, the same goods may be coming in. So the policy fixes a sum insured as the maximum value of goods on road at any given point of time. For example, take example, your insured is having only one lorry. He used to take his own goods in using only this lorry. If the maximum value can be taken into this lorry is 50 lakhs, then 50 lakhs is the sum insured. Because 50 lakhs will be on road at any given point of time. Suppose he is having 5 lorries and he expects 5 lorries may be on road at any given point of time, then it may be 2.5 crores, like that. So it is the maximum value on road at any given point of time. This is one special point regarding the annual policy. This is minimum sum insured. You just go through this, if possible, remember, or otherwise leave it. Questions may not be asked on this. If the distance is less than 80 kilometers, the single carrying limit should be twice the sum insured. And 1% of the or 1% of the turnover, whichever is more. Like that, they have given some table. You just go through that. If possible, remember it, otherwise leave it. Minimum rate of basic cover will be 30 times of the normal rates. The rate is higher. The rate is normal cover into 30 times. Wider cover with additional premium. Reinstatement of premium, because it is a single carrying limit. So the sum insured, if some claim happens, the sum insured should be reinstated. Right? Just like money in transit policy. Total liability of the insurer shall not exceed twice the sum insured. How many times you can reinstate the premium sum insured? But in a single policy year, the liability of the insurer should not exceed twice the sum insured. Seller's contingency. Afterwards, you just go through the write-up I am going to give you. Just I will explain what is a seller's contingency policy. Suppose the goods are sent abroad from India. For some reason, the goods may not be taken delivery at the abroad by the buyer. The insured has no choice but to bring back the goods to his own place. To take care of the return transit, to take care of the return transit of the goods, the seller's contingency policy is providing the cover, right? So sellers under FOB and C&F contracts may effect a contingency insurance to cover their interest if the consignee refuses damaged goods or unable to take delivery of the goods by paying the goods due to insolvency. For some reason, you understand, for some reason, the delivery is not happening. So he is not taking delivery. In that case, the goods are returned. So the goods, the return journey is covered by this seller's contingency policy. But again, this insurance covers some loss or damage happen to the goods during the return journey. During the return journey, something happens to the goods. The physical loss is covered by this policy, but the extra expenses for like freight and all, loading and unloading and all, is not covered by this policy. Only if the goods are damaged or lost due to the insured perils, this policy covers. Special storage risk insurance. We have seen the storage period given by so many policies, like ICC policy, it is 60 days, air 30 days, then inland transit 7 days, right? Like that, so many limitations are given for under each policy. Suppose the insured is having a open policy and a open cover like that. He wants cover. Sometime what happens, without his knowledge, the goods may be lying in the port for more than 60 days. At the time, he wants a blanket cover. Whenever the normal cover, standard cover issued by his regular policy, base policy is expiring, he wants a cover under this policy. So again, this is only for domestic transit, right? It is non-transferable. When the policy, this policy period of insurance should be identical with open policy. Then only you can cover the left out period in the open policy. When the cover starts, when the cover is terminated under the open policy. When the cover is terminated under the open policy, this cover takes care. When the cover is ending, when the goods are delivered or the consignee taking the payment, whichever is earlier. Once the payment is received, then there is no insurable interest, so our cover is over. Sum insured, 10% of the annual dispatches or 20 lakhs, whichever is higher. So maximum 20 lakhs only you can have this type of insurance. But I'm telling you, only for exam purpose, we are having this. Normally, we are not issuing these types of policies to the clients because the sum insured is very less. Normally, if they want extended cover, in the open policy itself, we are giving the extended storage facility cover, right? The limit per location is 10% of the sum insured or 1 crore, whichever is less. Okay, the basic sum insured, again you have to limit it with the limit per location. It is 10% of the sum insured or 1 crore, whichever is less. Okay, next policy is package policy under duty exemption scheme. First, you should understand to whom we are issuing these policies. There are certain industries where the goods are manufactured for 100% export. In these cases, the buyer abroad will give the raw material. They will give the design. The goods are manufactured within India and 100% given back to the abroad buyer. So this is duty exemption scheme. In this case, the customs duty is 100% exempted because the entire goods manufactured is going abroad again. Okay, they are not consumed within India. So this policy covers 3 sections. Inward transit from the time goods loaded on a ship, aircraft abroad till it reaches the insured premises. That is, raw material is coming from abroad. right? Storage and processing risk in the processing house. During the processing, regular storage risk, that is fire and burglary risks. C section, outward transit from the processing house till the goods are loaded on board. There is FOB cover, it is providing up to the ship. Sum insured. Section A, market value of the entire raw materials imported as per license. Section B, as may be fixed by the insured, because entire raw material consumed during the year may not be lying in the factory at any given point of time. So it is only not less than 20%. So minimum 20% of the total raw material he is receiving should be the sum insured for section B. Section C, market value of the entire finished products to be exported under the license. So section A covers raw materials, section B covers storage risk, section C covers finished goods. Market value of the goods or sum insured, whichever is less, is the base of indemnity. So base of indemnity is whenever the loss happens, we will pay the market value of the goods or sum insured, whichever is less. Sum insured is under this section shall stand reduced by the amount of loss paid unless pro rata extra premium is paid. Just like fire policy, the sum insured gets reduced. They have to reinstate the sum insured to the original position by paying the additional premium. Risk covered, ICCA or ICCR. Inland, it is ITCA. Policy for cargo sold on FOB basis. This policy, again, we are not regularly using. We are again using the extension given under that open policy. Suppose the goods sale contract is FOB. The insurance is arranged by the buyer overseas for his account and benefit. Risk under the buyer's policy commences on loading. When the risk commences, the buyer's policy will commence only after the goods are loaded on board the ship. The seller inside India will manufacture the goods and send it to the port. It is inland transit only, right? Because it is going within India to Indian port. So since it is inland transit, our cover is only up to 7 days after reach of the lorry or truck inside the port city. Suppose the transit is not happening within 7 days through the ship, this policy cover also expires. The buyer's policy will commence only after the ship, the goods are loaded onto the ship. Okay, there is a gap. So to fill the gap in the coverage, this policy is used. So it is called cargo sold on FOB basis. This policy covers even though the 7 days period is over after reaching of the port. This policy covers till the goods are loaded onto port, onto the ship. So it is covering the gap between the inland policy and the policy taken by the buyer. Export incentive. Again, 100% export-oriented industries, they are getting export incentive from the government. So they fix the price of the goods less than its cost price, less than the amount they are incurring to manufacture the goods, because the difference is made good by the government through export incentives. So the invoice will be showing the price they are receiving it from the buyer, which is definitely less than the actual market price. So in case of loss, they will get only this much. And also since the goods are not exported, they will not get the export incentive also from the government. So they will be at loss. To compensate them, this policy is introduced. In this policy, normally our sum insured will be invoice cost plus 10%. here our sum insured will be FOB value, that is invoice value, plus export incentive receivable plus 10%. So this is the simple logic. The exporter should not affected in case of the loss of the goods. They may not be able to get the export incentives also. Multi-transit policy, when the goods are in transit, sometimes the goods are coming back to the insured himself. Yes, the regular policy doesn't cover the intermediate storage by the insured. This policy covers everything, that is transit, then processing risk, and again transit, like that. For best example, tea crop, which we are going to cover in the coming slides. Tea crop policy covers the time the leaves are plucked from the tea plants. The cover starts. The tea leaves are brought to the warehouse. Transit risk. In the warehouse, it is storage risk, and processing risk in the factory. Again coming back to the warehouse, and it is transit on the retailers to the retailer place. Transit risk. Retailer place, it is storage risk. So wholesaler place, then to retailer place. So all risks are covered. Here, the goods are coming back to the insured custody in some places. For example, tea leaves, it is going to the warehouse, it is insured place. It may be going to the factory, to some other belonging to some other person, processing risk, then it coming back to the insured again, and again in transit. So like that, the entire process should be covered. So transit risk plus processing risks are covered. Also with the point that it may be coming back to the insured custody in between. Stock throughput insurance. As I gave the example of a garment factory, the stocks of a garment factory may be going out for dyeing, cutting, screen printing, and so many things, embroidering, for so many job works. So wherever the stocks of the particular insured is there, this insurance takes care of the entire stocks of the particular insured wherever they are lying. They may be lying in the job worker's place, right? So all the storage risk and the transit risk are covered by this policy. From the raw material purchase to delivery of the finished goods to the buyers, entire thing is covered by this policy, including the transit to the job worker's place and the processing risk at the job worker's place, right? So this is called stocks throughput policy. Sales turnover. Please listen carefully. This is because this is the one policy which we are now using regularly in our office. STOP, sales turnover policy. In other terms, it is called ATO, annual turnover policy, right? First, please listen. Suppose I have a garment factory. I am getting the raw material yarn from various parts of India and abroad. So raw material of 100 crores I am getting. So I can take a 100 crores open policy for the raw material portion. And I manufacture it into garments. And as I said, I am sending it to job or place and taking it back. And after finished goods, it will be going to India or domestic buyers or abroad buyers. So entire risk has to be covered. So first, if I take the open policies, forget about the stop. I should take a open policy for raw materials. I should cover the local transits for job work by annual policy or some other policy. Then for selling the finished goods, I have to take another open policy or open cover. Then for return of the goods sold, I have to take a separate cover. So I want to cover everything in a single policy. Also, I want to pay a lesser premium. In the earlier method, I take 100 crores open policy for raw materials. I pay premium 100 crores. My sales will be 120 crores. So I take open policy for 120 crores and returns and job work another 30 crores. So I take policies with a sum insured of 250 crores. Whereas my net sales is only 120 crores. So stop policy offer you a better solution. You pay premium for only 120 crores, which is your sales or turnover, but your entire transits are covered, starting from purchase of raw material till the finished goods are reaching and even the return of the finished goods. So this types of policy is called as stop sales turnover policy, stop policy or ATO. The insured is paying only premium on the sales turnover, nothing else. So he is paying 50% premium only than the earlier methods. And another thing, he need not give any declarations because blanket cover is provided for all his transits, all his transits. The sum insured will be last year turnover. And if the turnover is going to exhaust, the sum insured is going to exhaust within 12 months, he has to enhance it. This is the only area of concern in issuing a stop policy. Last year, my turnover was 100 crores. I have taken a policy for 100 crores. This year, my business has grown and the 100 crores turnover is exceeded in December itself. Whenever the turnover exceeds the sum insured, this policy automatically ceases because we are not getting declarations. We don't know how much turnover the client has done. So we will not inform the client that your sum insured is going to exhaust. So it is client's duty to monitor whether the required sum insured is there or not in the policy. Then how the final adjustment will be done? Without declaration. The final adjustment will be done based on the certificate of turnover given by the statutory auditor of that particular firm. The statutory auditor will certify last year turnover is this much. He has taken a policy for 150 crores, right? Turnover is only 120 crores. He will certify, balance amount we will pay. So at the end of the policy, only refund is possible. Collection is not possible because the enhancement should happen before the policy expires. After policy expires, nothing can be done, right? So this is called stop policy or ATO. Advantages, the client is paying only very much less, almost 50% of what actually he was paying in the earlier methods by taking many open policies. And the problem of issuing the declarations and giving the certificates are removed, totally removed. The client is also, work is also reduced, our work is also reduced. Since everything is covered, we have a higher premium because sometimes what happens, the client may be choosing only finished goods should be covered or only raw material should be covered. Here everything is covered and we are getting a average premium. So we are getting a good premium and our work is reduced. Insured is also happy that his work is also reduced because he is getting automatic cover for all his transits. Marine advanced loss of profit. We have machinery advanced loss of profit policy, which will be covered in the engineering insurance class. What is advanced loss of profit? Loss of profit, either fire or machinery. Machinery loss of profit is there, fire loss of profit is there. Both these policies cover only commissioned machinery or commissioned factories. After the factory starts commercial production, this regular fire LOP policy or machinery LOP policy can be taken. Advanced loss of profit means the machinery which is erected before commissioning of the machinery or commissioning of the factory, something happened to the machinery and a new machinery has to be bought and erected. Because of this reason, the commissioning date of the factory is delayed. So such delay will end up in the loss of profit for those delayed period. That is covered under machinery loss of profit. In the same way, marine loss of advance loss of profit. During transit period, the machinery is damaged, which is covered by our marine policy. Because of the loss or damage to the machinery, the commissioning of the factory is delayed and loss is reported because of they are losing the profit during the delay of commissioning period. So this type of policy is called marine advance loss of profit. Just imagine the machinery loss of profit also. The same way it is covering the losses happening during the transit period. Time excess is 30 days. You may be getting questions on this. Time excess. What you understand by time excess? Just like excess deductible, here the loss, the delay is up to 30 days, the no claim is payable. If the delay is more than 30 lakhs only, claim is payable. And a single project, single claim. All the delays due to the losses in various transits should be put together and only one claim may be received. So all the claims should be clubbed together. Again, bias contingency. This is somewhat difficult to understand. It is an FOB sale. The seller has taken the policy up to the port. The buyer has taken a policy for the balance of their journey. So once the goods are put on the board of the ship and received the payment for the goods, the seller is losing insurable interest. His policy is closed. So buyer policy is taking care of the remaining journey. It reaches the destination and it is found that the goods are damaged. But those damages are found to have happened during the inland transit from the buyer's place to the port. From seller's place to the port. That means it happened in India. Whom to the claim has to be made? Since the seller has received the money, he has lost the insurable interest, and his policy from manufacturing place to the port is already closed because he has already received the amount. And it is proved that the loss happened during that period only. Buyer's interest starts from the time the goods are on board, so he cannot also claim. So the actual loss happened, but neither the buyer nor the seller can claim this loss. To avoid such a situation, the buyer's contingency insurance is taken by the buyer for the losses occurring during the pre-shipment period. Pre-shipment period, for which the seller might have taken the policy or might not have taken the policy. So this type of losses is covered by buyer contingency. Suppose the seller has taken only ICCC, the buyer may want to cover the entire risk, so he may go for difference in coverage cover only. So the coverage difference between ICCC and ICCA may be taken by the buyer. That is also possible. Even though there is a policy, the difference in cover can be taken by the buyer. Freight contingency. In sometimes the cargo transit, the freight is payable only if the cargo reaches the destination safely. So if the cargo is lost during the transit, the freight which is eligible for the carrier is also lost. he will claim against the invoice for the sender. So this type of freight losses can be covered by freight contingency, where the freight is payable only after the safe arrival of the goods at the destination. Package policies. Actually, these policies are earlier called as tariff policies. You may be knowing, marine cargo was the first department to be de-tariffed in 1994. 1/4/1994, first department to be de-tariffed was marine cargo. Even after de-tariff of 1/4/1994, very few policies were under tariff. Those policies were called as tariff policies that were also removed from 1/4/2004. After 10 years, those policies also removed from tariff. So these policies are nowadays called as package policies, not as tariff policies. The transit risk and storage risk of tea, coffee, cardamom, and rubber are the four major policies issued as package policies. Very simple. All these four policies, why they called as package policies, means they cover everything right from the start of procurement of the raw material, transit to the factory, storage risk at the factory, process risk at the factory, transit of the finished goods to the wholesaler, transit risk of the from wholesaler to retailer, and intermediate transit, intermediate storage, everything is covered under single policy. So cover starts from the goods pickup in the garden, continues during transit, processing, storage, everything is covered till the product reaches the retailer. Till the product reaches the retailer. Any product, maximum storage is 120 days per year. Four types of policies are available. Full package, as I told you, from the estate to retailer. Another one, from garden to curing house only. For this 60-day storage, from curing house to FOB point, again 60-day storage is there. From curing house to buyers, this policy also can be taken. So four different types of policy available for coffee. It is annual policy. Estimated turnover is the sum insured. Adjustment only at the end of the year, just like open policy. ITCA plus SRCC is given. Base of settlement, market value of coffee less unincurred expenses as per schedule. So it is market value of the coffee at which it is sold in the market. Suppose some expenses are not incurred by the client, it is reduced. Then cardamom. Three types of policies: full package, 120-day storage, picking point to auction centers only, 90-day storage, only transit also can be covered. Base of settlement, previous year average price plus 10%. Because settlement, various batches will be sold for various rates. It is fluctuating also. So you cannot find out at what price it will be sold in the market on the given day. So our settlement rate, they clearly say it is previous year's average price, last year average price plus 10%. You can settle that amount. And again, one more formula is given in these policies. Suppose the tea garden belongs to the insured, the tea leaves are picked and it is brought to the factory, and tea is made and it is sold in the market. After tea is processed and packed, then only the price can be fixed. Suppose something happens during the transit from the garden to the factory, how you can fix the price? Because there is no sale. The garden is belonging to the insured, the factory also belonging to the insured. So there is no sale. Something happens for the leaves, that is raw material, during the transit. The formula given by the policy is 4 kilograms of raw cardamom equal to 1 kilogram of dried cardamom. That is the sale. 1 kilogram cardamom, at what price it is selling, it is equal to 4 kilos of raw material. The same condition is applicable for tea crop policy also. Rubber, same type, 3 types of policies, full package, estate to FOB point, only transit. Base of valuation, CEF plus 10%, cash usual market value plus minus unincurred expenses. Other conditions as per coffee policy. Tea crop, from the garden to retailer in India or abroad. This policy, all other 3 policies are only on FOB basis. So up to the port only it is covering, but tea crop is covering up to the buyer abroad. So the sea voyage is also taken care. So the coverage is ITCA, SRCC, ITCA plus VAR plus SRCC or IR. Only tea crop policy is having this extension, hailstorm extension. Hail damage. Hail damage is when the rain is coming with ice cubes, it will damage the leaves of the tea plants. So hailstorm is extension under tea crop policy. But during hailstorm extension, liability is limited to 50% or 25% of the crop damage. Again, the formula, 4 kilograms of green leaf equal to 1 kilogram processed tea. Cargo carried in sailing vessels. What do you understand by sailing vessels? Sailing vessels means the vessels which don't have any motors, engines. They will sail using the winds. So those vessels are called as sailing vessels. 3 types of covers can be given for cargo carried in the sailing vessels. Only total loss covered, or vessel burnt or sunk, jettison, C class, as per class B plus standing and collision. So 3 covers are available. So we cannot issue regular policies for the cargo carried in sailing vessels. Again, nowadays it is not used in regular usage. Just for exam purpose, you read. In this, general average contribution is not given, right? The duration of the policy from the time cargo loaded onto the vessel till it is landing at the final port, or 8 days after the arrival of the vessel at the final port. It is 8 days, not 7 days. It is 8 days. Containers. Nowadays, cargo going in containers is vague. So many transits are happening in containers only. Some insured are owning the containers and carrying their own goods in their own containers. At the time, they can insure the containers along with the cargo. But sometimes the container is owned by somebody else and the cargo is owned by somebody else. In that case, the container owners can take the policy on container alone, because container is also on transit. So containers will be treated as cargo for inland transits and covered only ITCB. ITCB only covered. Storage is also they require, because without transit, they may be lying in the port or in the client's place. So at the time, the storage cover can be extended by weekly basis. Treated as hull for overseas transit. The same container, if is going for overseas, it will be treated as hull and covered by institute container classes. All risk covered, subject to exclusions. Machinery of the container also covered. You might have seen nowadays the refrigerated containers are there, because to carry the vegetables or any food items, fish, meat. So the machinery means the refrigeration machinery. Any machinery attached to the containers can also be covered along with the containers. Geographical limits may be imposed. The geographical limits within which the container should be used also can be imposed by the insurance company. Okay, with this, we have come to the underwriting area of the cargo, right? Now, we will see the claims of cargo, then we will go to hull and aviation. As I told you, when you are thorough with the underwriting part, the claims is nothing. But in marine, there are certain terms under claim should be understood. Then only you can answer the questions. There are certain losses in marine claims: total loss, partial loss, salvage loss, general average, then zone labor charges, extra charges. Another two charges are particular charges are also there. I will come. What is a total loss? Goods are totally lost by an insured peril. It is burnt. It is sunk. So totally lost by an insured peril. Or another chance, the goods are entirely damaged or destroyed to such an extent that it is no longer a thing that was insured. Take the case of cement bags. Cement bags sustained water damages. What will happen? It will solidify. Nothing has happened. No loss has happened. But the product which is available now cannot be used for the purpose for which it was insured. It cannot be used as a cement further. So we have to consider it as a total loss again. So this type of losses are called as total losses. These two losses are called as actual total loss, ATL. And some other losses which are called as constructive total loss or commercial total loss, CTL. When the expenses of recovery will exceed the value of the property after recovery. Take the case of iron bars taken in a ship. The ship is sunk. Where are the iron bars? Iron bars are available on the seabed. But the amount required for retrieving the iron bars and bringing it back to the shore will exceed the sum insured, then nobody will go for recovery and they will abandon it. So in this case, it is called as constructive total loss. When the expenses of recovery will exceed the value of the property after recovery. When it is brought to the shore, what value it will fetch? If the value is less than the cost of recovery, nobody will go for recovery, right? So in total loss, always sum insured is payable because marine is an agreed value policy. Whenever there is a total loss, you have to pay the sum insured. There is no question about the market value, right? Salvage belong to the insurance company. Partial loss. Partial loss also can happen in two ways. One is total loss of part of the goods. 20 bags of 100 bags is lost. So total loss of part of the goods. Or damage to the entire consignment so that value depreciated. Take the case of a cloth. Cloth bales sustain water damages. Still, it can be sold as a cloth in the market, but for a lesser value because of the water damage. So what will be ascertained? How much we can fetch by selling the goods in the market as is various condition, and the difference between the sum insured and the sale proceeds will be payable as the claim, right? General average, we have already discussed two types of claims under general average. One is if the goods insured by us are sacrificed, we will pay the amount and we will get the contribution from the other cargo owners and ship owner. If the goods insured by us are saved by somebody else sacrifice, we will pay the general average contribution required by the person who sacrificed the goods, right? The contribution is calculated our sum insured divided by total value saved because of the sacrifice into loss. This is the formula to find out the contribution. Ship owner may insist on the general average contribution. Suppose ship is declared general average, the ship owner or captain may insist that the cargo owner pay the general average contribution, then only he can take the delivery, right? Salvage loss. Salvage loss means, take the case of vegetables. what damage occurred. If nothing is done and the ship is proceeding toward destination, before this reaching the destination, it will become a total loss. So what they will do, they will bring the ship to a nearby port and unload the vegetables, segregate the good ones from the decayed ones, and sell the good ones on the same place. Right? So what is the claim payable? Claim payable is the difference between the sum insured and the sale proceeds, to which amount it was sold in the market. That is the claim payable. Okay. 2 or 3 charges are there in marine claims. These terms are very, very important. Please understand. Many questions are asked in this. So understand which charges are payable for which amount, which purpose. First, sworn labor. We have already discussed general average. General average expenses is incurred to save the entire cargo on the ship. So that is called general average expenses. But sworn labor expenses or sworn labor charges are incurred to save only a particular cargo, only one cargo. Then that cargo owner or that insurer of the cargo owner is paying the sworn labor charges. So very simple, sworn labor charges are incurred to safeguard or to minimize the loss. Loss already started. You are spending something to minimize the loss. These 2 areas, we are doing it only for a particular cargo. Hello?
Yes, sir. It is
Okay.
audible.
Okay. So regarding claim documents, original policy is required for marine claim processing. Other documents, bill of lading. Bill of lading means the document given by the shipper, and RR, rail receipt, LR, lorry receipt. Evidence of the goods shipped. You should understand why we require this document. The invoice will have the total details. For example, 1 lakh ton of rice is going. The entire one invoice would have been raised for 1 lakh tons. But the entire 1 lakh tons may not be going in a single ship. A particular ship will be having only 20,000 tons. So we should know in the particular ship how much goods have gone. So for that purpose, we require the bill of lading. In the same way, one invoice will be for some 1,000 tons, and each lorry will be having only 20 tons or 10 tons. So in each lorry, how much is going, we need to know only by LR. So for this purpose, how much of the document has shipped in a particular ship or lorry, we require these documents. Then invoice. Invoice will be giving the evidence of the value of the entire goods. Then survey report. Survey report has two purposes. One is ascertain the cause of loss, whether it is coming under the purview of the policy or not, and the extent of loss, how much is lost. So for these two purposes, survey report is required. Debit note given by the insured claiming loss and excess expenses. In fire, we call it as fire bill or claim bill. Here it is called as debit note. He will be giving some 20 bags of rice totally lost, this much. Some 50 bags is partially lost, this much. And I have spent this much. I have given survey fee. I have given the settling agent fee, total. So how much he is claiming in total? That is called debit note. Copy of protest. Copy of protest is given by the ship captain. This document is required to know. Yeah, Balaji. Hello.
Sir, on the shoe and labor charges, அதுல இருந்து எடுக்கணும் ஆக்சுவலா ஒரு இது ஸ்லைடு மிஸ் ஆயிடுது அந்த இடத்துல டிஸ்கனெக்ட் ஆச்சு.
Okay. So there are some 4 charges which are given in marine claims. We should understand what is the significance of each charges. Sworn labor charges, which are spent to safeguard a single cargo. We have seen in general average, the general average expenses are sacrificed done to save the entire ship or entire cargo. So if the entire ship or entire cargo is saved because of one sacrifice or expense, it will be coming under general average. If the expenses spent only to save one particular cargo, then it is called as sworn labor charges, right? So sworn labor charges are spent for only one cargo, and sworn labor charges are always spent short of destination. So these are 2 words. Short of destinations means before the arrival of the ship at the destination. Sworn labor charges is spent short of destination, and it is spent to safeguard only one cargo, right? Second one, extra charges, claim survey fee, claim settling agent fee. 1 minute, I will change the slide. 1 or 2 slides I have inserted, that I will change now. So sworn labor charges spent only for one cargo and short of destination, right? Next charges is extra charges. Extra charges is nothing but comprises of only two expenses. Only is survey fee and other is claim settling agent fee, right? So these two are normally spent on destination, on arrival at destination only. Paid by insured initially. So normally the insured will pay these two fees and it should be reimbursed to the client along with the claim payment. Suppose the claim is also rejected, the amount paid by the insured for survey fee and claim settling agent fee also will be rejected. He will not get the payment. So simple logic, whenever surveyor is appointed by the insurance company will pay the fee irrespective of whether the claim is payable or not. But suppose the surveyor and claim settling agent are appointed by the insured and he is paying the fees initially, then he will not get them if the claim is rejected. If the claim is payable, everything is payable. If the claim is rejected, everything is rejected, right? So this is extra charges. Now come to salvage charges. What are salvage charges? Salvage charges are the charges payable to independent agencies who are coming to save a sinking ship. Some keywords: independent of contract. When the ship is on fire or a ship is sinking, the salvage associations on their own, without any request from the insured, on their own, they will come and try to save the ship. That means independent of contract. There is no contract between the salvage association and the insured. Independent of contract. Then, if they are able to save the ship, they will get a payment. If they are not able to save the ship, they will not get a payment. This is given by the principle no cure, no pay. So these two keywords you should remember to define the salvage charges. Salvage charges are incurred by the salvage association to save a ship which is on a peril. If they save the ship, they will get the payment. If they are not able, they will not get the payment. And they are doing this service independent of any contract. So independent of contract and no cure, no pay. These are the two keywords to define the salvage charges. Whenever you see these two keywords, you directly tick salvage charges. Okay. Particular charges. Generally, particular charges and sue and labor charges are the same with a minor difference. The sue and labor charges are to minimize a loss. To minimize a loss. When the loss has happened, to minimize a loss, you are spending sue and labor charges. Particular charges are incurred to avoid a loss. The loss has not started. The loss is only threatening. At the time, if you are spending, means you are spending, you are making particular charges, right? Again, the same thing, insured property only, not for common adventure, not for the total ship. So, sue and labor charges and particular charges are almost equal, except the difference that the sue and labor charges are incurred to minimize a loss, particular charges are incurred to avoid a loss, right? Okay. Now we have seen the four charges. Number one, sue and labor, particular charges, extra charges, salvage charges. Very important point is that all these four charges are payable over and above the sum insured. What do you understand over and above the sum insured? Suppose a cargo worth of 1 crore is on transit. On the way, some losses started. Avoid the loss, to minimize the loss, some sue and labor spent. 20 lakhs is spent. Sue and labor charges 20 lakhs spent to avoid a loss, to minimize the loss to a particular cargo. And again, it is on transit. Before reaching the destination, it went on a total loss. Okay. So what happened? Already 20 lakhs lost. Now 1 crore. but our policy sum insured is only 1 crore. But payable is 1 crore plus 20 lakhs. That means the sue and labor charges, extra charges, every charges are payable over and above the sum insured. Sum insured is not the limit for these charges. Right? Claim documents. Original policy is required for marine claims because as we discussed, marine policy is freely assignable. To know who is the real owner at the point of loss, we need to see the policy, because the policy might have been assigned to somebody else. So to know who is the real owner when the loss is happened. So for that purpose, we require the policy. Another abbreviation, sometimes they may ask PPI, policy proof of interest, which means policy is the only proof of insurable interest. How you will prove insurable interest in other claims? For example, in motor claim, how insurable interest is proved? Because by bringing the RC, right? How in a fire policy you will prove the ownership of a building? It is because of the sale deed. So in all other claims, you have other means to prove your insurable interest. But in marine, policy is the only proof by which you can prove your insurable interest. That is why it is called PPI, policy proof of interest. Policy is only proof of insurable interest. Suppose the policy is genuinely lost. Shall we reject the claim? No. If the policy is genuinely lost and it is proved by the insured, and he is giving an undertaking that if something happens in the future that somebody else is claiming, I will make the repayment. Like he will give an undertaking and we will settle the claim. Bill of lading. So inform bill of lading, the document given by the shipper during the goods are loaded. He will give how much goods are loaded and what is the value. RR, railway receipt, LR, lorry receipt. These documents are required to know how much of goods is on transit in that particular vehicle or vessel. Invoice and packing list, evidence of value of goods. Invoice, yes, it is giving the value of goods. What is the necessity of packing list? In many claims, I have seen the cargo claims, we never ask for the packing list. What is the importance of packing list? Suppose a machinery, very big machinery worth of 1 crore, which cannot be transported in a single lorry. It will be dismantled. It will be coming in so many packets, in so many lorries. Suppose only one lorry is getting accident, a few packets are damaged. We should know which packet contains which part. Then only we can settle the claim, which part is damaged and what is the value of the part. So for that purpose, packing list is mandatory. So even when you are insuring, you should get the invoice and packing list. That is always better. Survey report to ascertain the cause and the extent of loss. Survey report should give how the loss has happened and what is the extent of loss. Debit note, all the expenses or all the losses or damages claimed by the insured, like 20 bags totally lost, another 50 bags partially lost, survey fee paid, claim settling agent fee paid, expenses incurred, everything he will claim in a single note called as debit note. In fire, it is called as claim bill. In marine, it is called as debit note. Copy of protest is given by the captain of the ship. We need this document to know whether we are eligible for recovery rights or not. When the crew of the ship is negligent, because of the negligence only the loss happened, then only we can have the recovery rights. In spite of the crew's better handling, the loss has happened, then we cannot go for recovery rights. To know whether we have recovery rights or not, we need this document. This document is given by the ship's owner stating that we are not liable for any damage. We are not liable for any damages happen to the goods. Letter of subrogation. Yes, we have already discussed subrogation. Accounts of sales and repairs. Suppose the goods are sold in between. Letter of undertaking from the insured in case of non-delivery. In case of non-delivery, suppose the goods are traced in a future date, it will be delivered to the insured only. It will not be given to the insurance company because insured is having a contract with the carrier. So if we are settling a non-delivery claim, then we should get an undertaking from the insured stating that in a future date, the goods are traced and handed over to me. I will hand over them to the insurance company. There is undertaking given by the insured. All the correspondence between insured and the carriers, open delivery, non-delivery, short delivery, or damage certificate, whichever is applicable. The certificate from the carrier. Claim form. Bill of entry. What is bill of entry? Sometimes they are asking this question. Bill of entry is prepared by the customs department, noting down the actual value of the goods entering India and the customs duty payable for that. This is called bill of entry. This is prepared by the customs department. Why we need this document? To know the exact status of the goods at the time of entry into the port and the value of the goods. And we know the value of customs duty payable also from the bill of entry. Landed but missing. It is landed in the port but missing. Afterwards, it is missing. So this is given by port authorities. Lost overboard. It is dropped or it is damaged. That's also given by port authorities. Landing remarks given by the port authorities. Recovery rates we have already discussed. What is to be done to preserve the recovery rates? What the duties of the insured to preserve the recovery rate? That is given in the red slip, right? If the insured is going for taking delivery and he see the goods are outwardly broken, he can see the damages. He cannot take the delivery. He should give a open delivery request and the survey should be conducted at the carrier's place itself. That is a duty of the insured. If the insured is noticing the damage only after taking delivery and bringing it to home, then he should give notice to the carrier within 3 days of taking delivery. And whether he is getting the claim with the insurance company or not, he should file a suit against the carrier or he should send a monetary claim notice to the carrier within 6 months. Sorry, within 1 year for carriers and 6 months for railways. So this is the time limits given for filing suit against the carriers, which is different for different types of carriers: railways, road, air, port trust, ocean, and postal. And again, the number of days is different for filing a suit, for damage, and different for non-delivery. So this table I have just given for your reference. Mugging it up is not possible. Just go through this. If 1 or 2 questions coming, you can answer by knowing some details from this. Okay, with this, we have completed the cargo portion, right? Now we will go to the marine hull. Okay. All right. So as I told you, many aspects are having resemblance with the marine cargo. But marine cargo is very important. You may be getting around 18 to 19 or even 20 questions from marine cargo. So marine hull, they cannot ask so detailed questions like cargo. You should know the minimum details, what are the policies, what is the coverage, what is the exclusions will be enough, right? Marine hull is an agreed value policy. What is an agreed value policy? Agreed value policy 1, where the sum insured is not actually reflecting the market value. Market value is not insured, but the value agreed between the insurer and the insured is insured as sum insured. In case of total loss, the sum insured is payable. Right? Why marine hull is issued with the agreed value policy? A ship is 10 years old, another ship is new one. Both are having the same capacity, but the value will be so much different. From insurance point of view, we should see both the ships are having same freight earning capacity. Whether it is old ship or new ship, the freight earning capacity is the same. So the insured, if he is having old ship and it is totally lost, he has to get a new ship, which will be of higher value. So for these reasons, marine hull policy is issued as an agreed value policy. The value is agreed between insurer and insured. It may not reflect the exact market value. So in case of a total loss, sum insured is payable, right? Okay. So naturally, when agreed value policy is issued, under insurance is not applicable because the value is already agreed. It is not reflecting the market value. So you cannot compare the market value and the actual sum insured while setting the claims and put under insurance. Okay. So whenever agreed value policy is issued, there is no question of market under insurance, right? But for the claims of general average, salvage, collision liability, and sworn labor charges, under insurance is applicable. That means for partial losses and total losses of the ship, under insurance will not be applicable. But for all other expenses like general average, salvage, collision liability, sworn labor, under insurance is applicable. Normal, all the basic principles of insurance is applicable for hull insurance also. What is the subject matter? Hull and machinery. Hull means the skeleton of the ship, the body of the ship. Machinery means the machinery which is used to run the ship, right? So hull and machinery are insured in a single policy. There is no separate policy for hull and separate policy for machinery. It is known as H&M policy only, hull and machinery policy only. Freight at risk. We have already seen freight can be insured. Disbursement. Disbursement means the amount spent by the ship owner to run the ship, like the fuel and the salary given to the crew members, like that, right? Premium reducing, that we will see the coming slides. Premium reducing and return of premium. Ship repairs. For ship repairs also you can have a separate policy. Builder's risk. Just like our project policy in engineering, shipbuilding can take a separate policy because shipbuilding may take years together. So a single policy for more than 2 years, 3 years can be given for building a ship. Builder's risk. Okay. Charter's liability. The person who is taking the ship on charter based on the charter agreement with the owner, he will have the liability. That liability can be insured. Beaching and shipbreaking risk. When the ship is done its life and it is going to be broken, so that risk also can be insured. Freight and disbursement are known as subsidiary interest. Basic interest is the ship, subsidiary interest is the freight earning capacity, and the disbursements, which are also the liability of the ship owner. Hull insurance for vessels when they are under construction are called as construction builder's risk. During the breakup also, insurance will be provided. Hull policy is given in two types. One is time basis, voyage basis. Time basis means 12 months, just like our motor policies. Voyage basis means single voyage, just like marine cargo specific voyage policy. Normally, hull policies are annual policies, but voyage policies can be given delivery of voyage of a new ship from the shipbuilding port to the owner's place. Voyage to repairer's shipyard. When it is going to get repaired at a particular place, from this place to repairer's place, a single journey can be insured. Dry dock for class survey and damage repairs. Dry dock means the ship will be taken to the particular dock and the water will be removed from the dock, so that the persons then go down to the bottom of the ship and try to estimate what are the repairs and how much it can be take for repairs. That is called dry dock class survey or damage repairs. Funeral voyage. Funeral voyage is the final voyage of a ship which is going for to be broken. When the ship is life is over, it will be taken to the ship breaking place. The ship is not broken in all the ports. It is special places are meant for ship breaking. So this ship has to reach that place. So that voyage is called funeral voyage. So all these times we will issue a specific voyage policy. All other times we will issue annual policies. Builder's risk, as I take project policies, it will be more than 12 months. Seaworthiness, legality, just like two implied warranties in hull also. Hull and machinery. Hull and machinery means, as I told you, the body of the ship and machinery used to run the ship are insured together, and equipment and stores. Stores means the spares. Equipments used to run the ship. Due to partial loss, total loss, general average, salvage charges, own labor charges, everything just like marine cargo, except this last one, ship's liability for collision. When the ship is colliding with some other ship, it has a liability towards the other ship. Disbursement. What is disbursement insurance? These are ship owner's expenses to run the vessel. As I told you, maybe the fuel expenses, salary of the crew members, everything put together, it is called as disbursements. The sum insured for this policy should be maximum of 25% of the sum insured under hull and machinery policy. There are two subsidiary interests involved. One is disbursement, another one is freight. Freight can be insured with the hull and machinery itself or can be taken separately. But the condition says these subsidiary interest put together, that is disbursement and freight put together, cannot be insured for more than 25% of the value of the hull and machinery policy. If the insured is taking only disbursement policy, not freight policy, then he can take 25% alone for disbursement. If he is taking only freight policy, he can use the 25% of the sum insured only for freight. If he chooses to take both the policies, disbursement and freight, the sum insured in both the policies put together should not be more than 25% of the sum insured under hull and machinery policy. Okay, what is freight? Freight is the amount received by the ship owner for carriage of the goods. Only if the goods are handed over to the client safely at the destination, he is eligible to get the freight. So the freight is also at risk. When the ship gets damaged or gets sunk, he is losing not only the ship but also the freight. So he can insure the freight separately. Again, I told you it should be 25% maximum of H&M policy put together. So disbursement plus freight insurance should not exceed 25%. Premium reducing. Take the example of freight. Freight insurance, it should be insured for freight earning capacity of 12 months. For example, every month expected freight is 1 crore. It will be insured for 12 crores. 1 month is over, no claim. So from the next month, the sum insured at risk is only 11 crores, not 12 crores. If second month is also over, the amount at risk is only 10 crores. So every month proportionately, the amount at risk is reduced. So why he should pay premium for the 12 crores for the entire 12 months? So the premium get reduced, just like our EMI calculation. So the premium reducing means he should pay the premium proportionately for the amount at risk. This is called premium reducing. Example is freight insurance. Return of premium. Just like motor laid up policy, fire silent risk. In MBD, one term is called standstill period. In MBD, it's called standstill period. In motor, it is called laid up. In fire, it is called silent risk. In MBD, it is called standstill period, where the property is not used. In the same way, hull policy also, when the ship is not used for more than 30 consecutive days, then they are eligible for refund. Right? You just know that. Just compare with other policies. In fire, silent period is minimum 30 days. Motor, minimum 60 days. Standstill period in MBD, it is 90 days. Right? So in fire and hull, 30, motor 60, in MBD it is 90 days. In all these policies, they are eligible for refund. Ship repairers liability, just like our garage owners are taking the policy, motor trade policies, right? The ship owner, ship repairer, during the custody of the ship, something happens to the ship, they are liable, so they can take ship repairers liability policy. Ship builder policy, the firm which is building the ship can take a policy. It starts from the time keel. Keel is the base. Base is laid till the completion of the vessel, up to trial run and launching on period basis. Till the trial run is over, this policy covers. This policy may exceed 12 months, depending on the time taken to build the ship. Installment facilities available? Yes, it is more than 12 months. Charter's liability. The charter who is taking the entire ship on charter, so he may have a charter agreement with the ship owner. What are his liabilities will be mentioned in that agreement. Based on that agreement, he can take a policy to safeguard his interest. Loss of hire. Ship owner, he is giving the ship on hire to somebody else. Suppose something happens to the ship, he is losing the hire, just like loss of rent in fire policy, yard on cover. Loss of profits, charterer is taking the policy. Loss of profit when the ship is not used because of an accident. Marine hull and machinery, a single policy with a single sum insured should be issued. No separate sum insured is available for hull and machinery. A single sum insured put together is insured. Any structure, steel, wood or fiber or in combination can be used. Marine cargo was de-tariffed from 1/4/94. Marine hull was de-tariffed from 1/4/2005. These are our prospective customers: ship owners, charters, shipbuilders, shipbreakers, repairers, bankers, and financiers. All types of vessels covered under hull policy, right? Okay. There are 26 classes in hull policy. The class 6 specifies the perils which are covered by the policy. It has two sections, 6.1 and 6.2. 6.1 is uncontrollable perils. It is called as uncontrollable perils, where the insured has no control. Example, the perils of seas, rivers, lakes, fire, explosion, violent theft outside the vessel, jetties, and piracy. All these perils, three more are there: breakdown or accident to nuclear installation reactors, contact with aircraft, earthquake, volcanic eruption, and lightning. These 8 perils where the insured has no control are called as uncontrollable perils and coming under class 6.1 of the hull policy. 6.2, controllable perils, where the insured has a little control over the losses happening under these perils. Accident to loading and discharge or shifting of cargo and fuel, bursting of boilers, breakdown of shafts, latent defects in the machinery or hull, negligence of the master, officers, and crew members, negligence of the repairers, barratry of master or crew. Barratry means it is the revolt by the master or crew of the ship. Sometimes they may be asking, what is barratry? Barratry means the crew of the ship or the ship's captain is revolting against the owner and either selling the ship itself or part of the ship or damaging the ship, right? This act is called as barratry. Wrongful act of the master and or the crew members: scuttling, run the vessel to the shore, setting the vessel on fire are the examples. Okay. So we are seeing only the important classes. Section 6, class 6, 6.1, 6.2, 6.1 uncontrollable perils, 6.2 controllable perils, and other perils covered. Pollution hazard. You should understand there are 2 types of pollution hazards or damages. If a vessel carrying oil, due to some damage, oil is leaked on the sea, it is a pollution hazard. It is not payable by the policy. But since the government wants to stop the pollution hazard or arrest the pollution hazard, orders deliberate destruction of the vessel. It may order the vessel may be put on fire or it can be broken. In that case, because of the pollution only, the government orders the destruction of the ship. In that case, it is payable. But the consequences of the pollution, oil slick on the seabed, on the sea surface, it is not payable by this policy because it is huge, right? Okay. Next one is collision liability. You should understand hull policy is having huge sum insured. So collision liability under hull policies is different from the collision liabilities of motor policies. Under motor policy, normally we will not proceed against the wrongdoer. Our vehicle is parked and one vehicle is hitting against our vehicle. We will settle the claim for this. Our parked vehicle has no role in the accident. The wrongdoer is the other vehicle. As per natural justice, we should proceed against the wrongdoer. to get the compensation. But normally we are not doing it because in motor, the liabilities are very less. So we are not going for the proceeding against the other person. There is an agreement called knock for knock agreement also there. But even without that, we are not proceeding against the other insurance company or other vehicle owner. But in health policy, it is not like that. The losses are so huge. So if two ships are colliding, A and B, right? First of all, the percentage of negligence will be arrived by a team, just like our surveyors. Percentage of negligence is fixed on ship A is 60%, ship B is 40%, right? So ship A is negligent for 60%. So it should compensate the losses of ship B up to 60%. So 60% of the losses of ship B is compensated by ship A. The same way, 40% of the losses sustained by ship A is compensated by ship B. This is if there is no insurance. This is the liability of the ship A and liability of the ship B. In case both the ships are having insurance, ship A insurer will give 3/4 of the liability of the collision liability of the ship B. In the same way, ship B's liability is paid up to 78%, that is 3/4 by the insurer of the ship B. First, negligence, percentage of negligence is arrived. Then the amount of loss is arrived. What is the liability of the particular ship is made good up to 3/4. Right? This is called collision liability. This is also covered by hull and machinery policy. And loss or damage to any other vessel or property on any other vessel. The losses, collision liability includes the loss to any other vessel, also the property on the any other vessel. Right? You should understand two things. The hull policy, collision liability compensates only 3/4 of the liability. What is the liability of the insured ship? The policy compensates only 3/4. Remaining 1/4 is compensated by the club called P&I Club, Protection and Indemnity Club, right? So what is a Protection Indemnity Club? It is a club run by the ship owners. It is a voluntary association. It is not any legal sanctity. It is a voluntary association run by the ship owners by paying again small contribution, which is not called as premium, it is called as contribution. The 1/4 liability, balance 1/4 collision liability is compensated by this club to its own members. The ship owner who is not a member of P&I club cannot get this 1/4. Who is the member of the 1/4? He can get the 1/4 collision liability from the P&I club. So it is a voluntary association. This club is managed by board of directors. It is based on no loss, no gain basis. It is managed. Fund is collected from the members as premium or contribution. Each member will pay initial premium depending upon the tonnage of the vessel. If the pool or the floating fund is over, then again a call will be made to all the ship owners to make the contribution. It is a non-profit making organization, right? Okay. So collision liability 3/4 made good by the policy, 1/4 made good by the P&I club. Termination clause. When the H&M policy is terminated on change of classification, on change of ownership, transfer of management, change of charter. That is the how the ship is run, either on charter basis or bareboat basis. Requisition for title or use of vessel, 15 days allowed for realization. Suppose a transfer is happening, 15 days waiting period is there. Before that, it should be regularized. Change, suspension or discontinuation or withdrawal of expiry of class of vessel. Refund of premium is allowed on pro rata basis if the insurance is terminated by the insurance company. Okay. What are the exclusions? Willful misconduct of the insured, war, weapons and nuclear perils, again nuclear contamination and all, financial default, insolvency, war, civil war, SRCC, terrorism. So in hull policy, almost all the exclusions coming under cargo is coming. Insolvency, war, SRCC, all the exclusions. War and SRCC can be covered by paying additional premium. These are all just you go through. These are all not important. You just go through, which are very much easy. Payment of premium. For hull and machinery, since the premium is huge, even though the policy is issued only for 12 months, installment facility is allowed. Please understand, in all other departments, particularly in engineering, where the policy period exceeding 12 months, then only there is a provision for installment. Here, even the policy is issued only for 12 months, the installment facility is allowed. Every installment is payable at the starting of the each quarter. This is one thing important. Sister ship class. When two ships A and B colliding, belonging to two different persons, forget about insurance. The ship owner of A will compensate the damages occurred for ship B. Ship B will compensate the damages happened to ship A based on their liabilities or percentage of negligence. So whatever is the liability of the ship owner, 3/4 of that liability will be payable by the policy if the policy is taken. Right. This is the situation when two ships belonging to different persons are colliding. Take the case where two ships belonging to the same persons collide. There is no liability for the ship owner because his own ship hits his own ship. If you compare some other provision in fire policy, my own property hit by my own vehicle is not covered by fire policy. I have insured my house. While taking out my car hits my compound wall. In fire policy, I cannot claim that. That is impact damage by insured's own vehicle. Because I cannot claim against myself. Vehicle is also my own, house is also my own. I cannot claim against myself. So that liability is not given by the policy. In the same way, when two ships belonging to the same person collide, legally, that person don't have any liability towards other ship. So when there is no liability, the insurance policy will also not pay. When there is liability, only the insurance company will pay. But past receivership clause says, in case two vessels of same ownership collides, the claims will be settled by the insurers of both the policies, both the ships, as if considering as if the ships are owned by different people. Understood? Consider or imagine the two ships are owned by different people. arrive at the liabilities, and these liabilities will be payable by the insurer of the respective ships, even though both ships are belonging to the same insured. This is the sister ship class. Sometimes they are asking these questions, right? Okay, we will break for tea. What is the time? It is 3:45. We will assemble by 4 o'clock. Okay. Friends, let us continue. We will see types of vessels. What are the different types of ships? Liner vessels. Liner vessels means the ships which operate on a advertised time schedule, just like our trains and flights. It starts from a particular port at a given time and a given date. It reaches a particular port and come back. So they will not wait for the cargo. They will start in the given time. They will come back in the given time. These are all called as liners. The liners are better managed ships, so they are given a lesser rate. Tram. They do not operate on any advertised schedule, just opposite to liners. Whenever they get the cargo, they start from the particular port. And again, the destination is also not fixed. To wherever place they get the cargo, they will move. Dry bulk carriers. Dry bulk carriers means it can carry the dry cargo in bulk. Iron ores, coal, sugar, bauxite, fertilizers generally have a single deck. Large holes and hatches to facilitate faster loading and unloading operations. These wide hatches are potential source of danger in case of heavy weather. The wide hatches, if one part is damaged due to water or something, the entire hold will be damaged. That is one the risk factor in these carriers. Liquid bulk carriers. These carry liquids like oils and chemicals, right? The stability is more important because on moving, just like our oil tankers, which are compartmentalized. This oil carriers also compartmentalized. These things are tankers. There are many small differences are given, like super tankers, very large scale tankers like that. You just go through this. These are not that much important. Container vessels. Container vessels are specially built to carry containers. It will carry only the containers. Engaged in the liner trade. Sophisticated loading and discharge facility. Because only the containers have to be loaded and discharged. It is easy in the loading and unloading operations. They carry containers up to 4 tires. Containers vessels involved in liner operation up to 30 years of age, normal premium is charged because they are better managed and better maintained. Lash. Yes, sometimes they are asking this question, what is lash? Lighter aboard ship. To imagine a situation where very big ship is coming to a smaller port. The port may not have the facility to receive the bigger ship. So the ship will be staying some 2 or 3 kilometers away from the port because it cannot berth in the port because of its size. So what they use, it is called as small boats which carry goods. It may be in the tanker shape or regular barge shape. The small barges loaded with goods will sail towards the ship, and the ship will be having the loading facility cranes to take this ship, entire small boats into the ship. So entire boat is loaded onto the ship. On the destination also, the boats are lowered using the cranes and they will sail towards the shore. This type of ship is called lash, lighter aboard ship. Ro-ro, roll on, roll off ship. Just like our backwaters in Kerala and Calcutta, the vehicles will be rolling on to the boats or ships along with goods or passengers, and the ships will be moving in the water, and the destination, the vehicles, either cars or lorries, will be rolled off from the boat or ship. This is called roll on, roll off. Here the boats or ships do not have the crane facility, as the lorries or cars will be rolled on themselves to the ship. Passenger vessels is modern facilities to carry the passengers. Sundry vessels, small vessels, other than ocean going vessels, it is called as sundry vessels. Fishing vessels, only meant for fishing operations. Dredgers, dredgers means used to remove sand, mud, gravel from the sea. It is used to deepen the canals or port areas. Barges, small flat bottomed vessel used only in the port areas. Launchers, half decked utility boats used to carry passenger tourists on short distances. What are the underwriting considerations? Type of vessel, construction, builder, year, age, tonnage, single or double bottom, single or twin engine, flag, trade, singleton or fleet. Singleton means a owner having only one ship. Fleet means the owner having more number of ships. Management of the vessel, prevailing repair cost, capacity of the fuel tank, fire extinguishing appliances, classification, pre-insurance survey, claim experience, cover required, moral hazard. All these things to be considered before rating a ship. These are the some of the classification societies of the ship. IACS, International Association of Classification Societies, which includes India and 13 other members. IRS, Indian Register of Shipping. ABS, American Bureau of Shipping. CCS, China Classification Society. Flag of convenience we have already discussed. It is registered in the less stringent countries like African countries. Total loss, constructive total loss, particular average, general average, owned labor, particular charges, salvage charges, extra charges. Everything we have already discussed. This question sometimes they are asking. York-Antwerp rule. York-Antwerp rule is used to calculate the general average contribution to be made by each of the cargo owners and the ship owner. York-Antwerp rules is used to calculate the contributions to be made by the cargo owners and the ship owner for a general average sacrifice. Owned labor, same as cargo. Particular charges when the loss is imminent. Owned labor, when the loss has already started, loss minimization, particular charges is to avert a loss, to avoid a loss. War cover. This cover is issued in conjunction with the H&M insurance. In other policies, for example, in marine cargo, war cover is an add-on cover under cargo policy. Here, war cover is a separate policy in conjunction with as a add-on policy for H&M policy. Coverage, damage due to ship by war or warlike operations, same as cargo. So we have completed the hull. Now we will move on to aviation. Okay, aviation also, you just, we will explain what all the policies and what all the important conditions and study material as far as marine cargo and hull is involved, you go through marine insurance. I think it is 67. It covers both cargo and hull. One more book is called Marine Insurance Claims, but it has almost everything is covered under the marine insurance book itself. Only the finer points regarding claims is there. If you find time, you can go through marine insurance claims. As far as aviation is concerned, you need not study the aviation book. It is huge and you need not go through the entire book. If possible, you can just read it, but this PowerPoint alone will be enough for you to appear for the exam. Okay. When aviation is the aerodynamics, which is the study of science of forces generated in air by passage of solid bodies, such as aircraft. So aerodynamics is a science of moving solid bodies in air. There are 4 forces operating on a moving body in air: gravity, lift, drag, and thrust. Engines provide the necessary power to aircraft to move forward, to take off, fly, and finally to land. There is always a force of drag operating against the motion. It is the air. Engine provides thrust. The wings provide lift. When the thrust power is more than the drag power, only then aircraft moves forward, and the lift force supplied by the wings exceeds the weight, the aircraft climbs. Whilst in flight, all the 4 forces should be balanced, and the aircraft is so designed to achieve this objective. When it is flight, all the 4 forces are balanced. Types of engine. There are 2 engines, piston engine and jet engine. Piston engine is using gasoline, which presents a high fire risk. Risk of total loss due to single piston engine can be avoided by using twin or 4 engines. Nowadays, most of the aircrafts are with having 2 engines or 4 engines. Jet engine, most reliable from the engine failure point of view, exposed to ingestion risk. Most of the aircraft nowadays are using jet engine only, where a huge propeller is there, which are set below the wings. But only problem is it is exposed to ingestion risk. Ingestion means entry of some foreign bodies into the propeller, the engine. Foreign bodies means birds or some flying objects can enter the engine because the front portion of the engine is open. So any bird or any other foreign body can enter the engine easily. So that is only the risk of the jet engine. Damage to the engine such as stone, birds, etc. sucked into the engine while taxiing or takeoff. Jet engines require long runways to take off and land. Yes, these are high-speed engines. Previously, engines were fitted at the end of the fuselage. Fuselage means the body. End of the body only, the engines were fitted. Now, it is fixed under the wings for easy overhauling and repair. But in belly landing, when the wheels are not getting operated, when the wheels are not able to put down, the engine will land on its body itself. So when it is doing the belly landing, the engines are the first to suffer the damage because they are put just below the wings. Helicopters, hazardous risk from the underwriting point of view, because it is used to crop dusting, offshore drilling, rescue operations, and hence due to low height, it is a bad risk. It cannot go to the higher heights, so it is running on the lower heights, it is a bad risk. Operation hazards. When the hazards during the operation of the aircrafts. Takeoff and landing risk. 95% of the accidents, aviation accidents happens either on landing or when takeoff. Stalling. An aircraft has to fly at a minimum speed at which varies according to the load. When the speed falls below the stalling speed, there may be air crash. So it has to maintain a minimum speed so that it continue flying. That's called as stalling. taxiing. First of all, you should understand what is taxiing. Taxiing means the movement of the aircraft under its own power. It is not being hauled by any other vehicle. It is moving on its own. So this is called taxiing. Accident may occur during taxiing due to air congestion, incorrect order from the controlling tower, miscalculation of the pilots. Because while taxiing, the wings are so broad, the pilot has to judge the distance at which the wings are coming. So the wings may hit the objects which are standing nearby. So it is very carefully the pilot should operate the aircraft while taxiing. Taxiing means movement of the aircraft under own power. Taxiing shall not deem to cease merely by reason of temporary halting of the aircraft. Taxiing is completed only when the aircraft starts flying. What are the flight risk? Engine failure, ingestion risk, that is some foreign bodies entering into the engine, air current, stormy weather, night flying, and ground risk. Ground risk means aircraft parked in the hangar are exposed to fire, earthquake, flood, and reactant strike. Moved means the aircraft which are designed to land on water. Moved means the aircrafts which are designed on water is landing on water. What are the subject matters of aviation insurance? Fixed wing aircraft, helicopters, seaplanes, balloons and gliders, hovercrafts, satellites, and airports, manufacturers, and refueling risk. Aviation covers aircraft policy covering hull and liabilities, spares all risk cover, hull war risk cover, war risk cover, pilot, crew, and personal accident, pilot loss of license, airport owners and operators liability, aircraft refueling liability, hull deductible insurance, unearned premium insurance, ground handlers liability insurance, excess war liability, satellite insurance. Aviation laws for smooth and running of operation of aircraft related to registration, certificate of airworthiness, licensing of pilot and engineers, carriers liability towards passengers, third party and own employees, use of sky of various countries, operational safety measures. All these things are taken care by aviation laws. In India, Director General of Civil Aviation. This is the organization which is taking care of the aviation laws. Director General of Civil Aviation is the principal regulatory body in the field of civil aviation. Rating. How an aircraft is rated varies according to the type of aircraft, year of construction, past experience in claims, pilot's experience, geographical limit in which it is flying. Passenger rate. The abbreviation you can remember RPK, revenue passenger kilometers, arrived by multiplying the number of fare paying passengers by distance they travel. Suppose 100 passengers are traveling in an aircraft who are paying the fare and they are flying for 1000 kilometers, then 100 into 1000. So 1 lakh RPK. RPK means revenue earning passenger kilometers. Product liability, value of the aircraft, product liability policy for manufacturers of the aircraft given based on the value of the aircraft and volume of the production. Old aircrafts are rated component parts class. Just like marine hull policy, for old aircrafts, agreed value policy is given and the rates for each part is given as a percentage of the total sum insured. New aircraft, newly designed aircraft is rated high because the claim experience is not known. Methods of parking. Light aircraft such as helicopters and gliders are susceptible to damage because these aircrafts are very light in weight. So they are susceptible to damage by storm, lightning, hurricane if they are kept in open. Special inquiries about the hangar facilities should be done while undertaking this risk. What do you understand by gliders? Gliders are the aircrafts which don't have any engines. They just fly with the air power, prone to damage when being transported to and from launching site. It will be taken to the launching site by using some jeeps and all, and the jeep will pull the glider. It will fly on the sky and it will land on the some designated places. Launching risk varies with the method of use. Construction of gliders, forced landing of outside aerodromes brings the third-party risk. In early days, aviation insurance was confined to fire risk only. In 1910, OD plus TP risk was insured. The Carriage of Air Act came into force on 1912-1972. Then two types of losses are not available in India. Product liability for manufacturers, because there are no manufacturers of passenger aircraft in India. So product liability for manufacturers is not available in India. Loss of use by use of aircraft, just like loss of use of rent in fire policy. These are the important classes. Avian 1C, policy weightings for hull liabilities, LSW 555. You just go through this. Numbers they will not ask. You just know what are all the classes available. The hull policy has three sections. One is loss or damage to the aircraft. Section 2, third party liability. Section 3, passenger liability. All the three liabilities put together can form a single combined liability. Policy can be taken on the basis of a single combined liability also, like third party liability, passenger liability, cargo liability, baggage liability. All other liability towards the damage or injury to the third parties can be combined together, and a combined limit can be given for which the premium will be quoted. Okay, section 1, loss or damage to the aircraft. Section 2, extortion and hijacking. This is war risk. Actually, as we say, as seen in the marine hull policy, a war cover is given by a separate policy as an add-on policy for the regular hull policy. Here also, hull policy doesn't cover the war risk. A war policy should be separately taken as an add-on policy to align with the regular hull policy. So the war and allied peril policy, section 1 covers loss or damage to the aircraft. Section 2, extortion and hijacking. In all the aviation policies, this exclusion is there. If the war is broken between any of these 5 countries, then automatically the war cover ceases. USA, France, Russia, England and China. So if any of these 5 countries are involved in any war, the war cover automatically ceases. Spares all risk. Subject matter: engines, spare parts, equipments while in transit by air, steamers, road or rail. The spare parts of the aircraft, even when they are in transit by air or ships or road or rail, they are covered by this policy. Hull deductible. What do you understand by deductible? It is an excess. In marine hull and aviation hull, the deductible itself is a huge amount. So the aircraft owners or hull owners, they may opt to take a separate policy to cover the hull deductible portion only. So regular hull policy will have a huge deductible. That deductible can be covered by some other policy, separate policy called hull deductible policy. Loss of license. This is issued for the pilots. Persons having valid license issued by DGCA or similar authorities should be a resident of India, work in India under the employment scheme or any other company of India. Age limit 18 to 65, may be extended up to 70. If the insured person becomes incapable to hold the license due to disease or accident, the policy pays. Imagine the personal accident policy. In personal accident policy, what is covered? Death or PTD, permanent total disablement. This policy covers the sum insured for the person, pilot, who becomes incapable to hold the license, either because of a disease or because of an accident. So if he is not able to hold the license, naturally he is losing his job. He will lose his salary. So that is covered by this policy. If a pilot loses a license because of a disease or accident, this policy covers the sum insured. Exclusions: diseases contracted first 90 days of the policy. However, accidents are covered. Previous diseases are not covered. SRCC, self-injury, suicide are not covered. Aviation personnel. Please understand, our regular PA policy do not cover the persons involved in aviation, like pilots, crew members, engineers. So these people are not covered by regular PA policy. So they should be covered only by aviation PA policy. So aviation PA policy is given to the pilots and the crew members, right? Regular, as usual, death, PTD, TTD, table B plus PPD, just like our PA policy. Okay. Liabilities. Just like marine, aviation also of international character. So the compensation, minimum compensation for death or injury or delay of baggage or loss of cargo, everything is fixed by an international organization, and they fix the liability in terms of SDR. Sometimes they are asking this question. SDR means special drawing rights. You can consider this as a currency. This currency value is fixed based on the currency value of various countries, right? So the compensation fixed on terms of SDR. SDR value is defined by the IMF, taking into account of the current value of the various currencies. So death or injury for flight delay. So you need not mug up all these numbers. You just know 2 or 3 points. So liability of the aircraft companies are fixed in terms of SDR. SDR means special drawing rights. You can consider this as a special currency. This value of the currency is fixed based on the value of the other countries' currencies. This liabilities compensation also revised from time to time. So you just go through the compensation for each of the losses or damages like death or injury, delay, everything. If you are able to remember the numbers, please remember. Otherwise, just know the principle. What is SDR? How a SDR rate is fixed. So this is about aviation. So aviation policy is very few questions, very simple questions will only come. Now you can ask questions from the entire class. Balaji, please open up the mics for the participants.
Sir, please explain general
insurance,
average.
sir. Please explain premium reducing insurance, sir. In marine hull, premium reducing insurance.
Premium reducing, 2 or 3 policies are issued in marine hull. I told you example of freight, right? The freight is insured for 12 months. Suppose freight earning capacity of the ship is 1 crore per month. Freight for 12 months is 12 crores. Suppose the ship is running safe for 1 month. At the end of the 1 month, the amount at risk is only 11 crores. End of the 2 months, the amount risk is only at 10 crores. So the insured need not pay the premium for 12 crores for all the 12 months. So the premium will be reduced. That is, first month, the premium will be for 12 crores. Second month, 11 crores. Third month, 10 crores. That will be added up to arrive at the premium. Just like how you are arriving EMI in case of housing loan. So this is premium reducing. Okay, next. Unmute your mic
Sir,
and talk.
regarding this, sir, regarding this duty component, regarding this duty component, for suppose consignment is damaged in the middle of the sea or it is damaged in the go down or something, when it can be claimed by the insured?
Madam, actually, I told you there are 2 methods of insuring the customs duty. Okay. If the customs duty is included in the original invoice, right, it is automatically coming under the sum insured, and whatever damages to the goods is automatically reimbursed. No issue. But when the customs portion is not included in the basic invoice, then the buyer has to pay the customs duty to take the delivery of the goods from customs. So after paying the customs duty, he is taking delivery of the goods and found it is damaged. Then he cannot use the goods. So whatever customs duty paid is lost. So for that portion alone, customs duty portion alone, the buyer is taking insurance, provided he is having a basic policy to cover the entire sum insured, right? So customs duty has another class. If the goods are not usable, then the buyer can apply for a refund of the customs duty he has already paid to the customs department. But the customs department may not give the full refund. Depending on the situation, they may give part of the refund or reject the refund also. So our customs policy covers the customs duty already paid. If the basic policy claim payable, admissible, then customs duty policy also claim admissible. But the amount payable is exactly we are not going to pay the sum insured. It is strict indemnity policy. The amount payable will be the full amount of customs duty he has paid minus the refund he is receiving from the customs department. That is the amount payable. Clear?
Noted, sir. Noted, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
You said that there are general average and salvage charges in hull also. So is it related to any damage or general average of any cargo, or is it particularly related to any hull damage?
Sir, in cargo policy, we will consider general average of contribution towards the cargo only. Right?
Okay, yeah.
When the hull policy, general average for hull is considered. Suppose, I'll give you an example. We have issued a cargo policy, right? In a general average act, only hull was protected, hull was saved, some expenditure was made. So for this, only the marine hull policy will pay. Since we have issued a cargo policy, we will not pay for the hull policy general average.
The general average means actually some multiple parties are actually contributing or pooling in, right?
Yes.
So in this case, there is only one hull and only one owner and one insurer. So how this works?
So in that case, the ship will claim under their own partial damage only, or sworn labor charges only. It will not come as general average. General average means the entire adventure should have been saved. There was a threat for the entire cargo on the ship. Then only general average comes into picture. If threat is only for a single cargo, then expenses made are sworn labor charges. Next.
Sir, please explain collision liability.
Collision liability.
Collision liability. Yes,
okay. Actually, collision liability, if the blackboard or the whiteboard is there, I can explain better. Consider two ships, okay, A and B. A and B collide with each other. If the same thing happens in motor policy, the A insurer will settle A claim, B insurer will settle B claim. They will not bother about the percentage of negligence. Whoever is negligent, both will pay. But in marine hull policy, the amounts involved are so huge. So they have formulated a method by which the percentage of negligence is arrived first. Okay. So I will give you an example. As per given the formula, the percentage of negligence is arrived as below. The percentage of negligence of A is 60%. Percentage of negligence is 40% for ship B. Forget about insurance. Let us assume that there is no insurance for both the ship. So, suppose the B ship got damaged for 1 crore, 60% of which will be compensated by ship A, because it is 60% negligent. Agreed up to this?
Yes,
Clear
sir.
up to, okay. Next one. The ship A sustained damages of 10 crores. The ship B will pay 40% of the 10 crores. Yes, it is 40% negligent. Agreed? Clear?
Sir, repeat.
Hello? Is it clear now? No, it is still, it is there. Explanation is there. Up to now, it is over. It is clear.
Okay, sir.
Not yet. I think you are not yet clear. Actually, A and B are colliding. Okay. The team has decided A is percentage of negligence is 60%. B is having percentage of negligence 40%. Right? B sustained a damage of 1 crore. So the A will pay 60% of 1 crore. Balance B has to manage. I am hypothetically taking both the ships are not having insurance. Okay. Ship A sustained a damages of 10 crores. But B is having only 40% negligence. So B will pay 40% of ship's A's damages of 10 crores. So it will pay, B will pay 4 crores to A. Remaining it has to manage. Up to this is clear without insurance? Is it clear now?
Yes, sir, cleared. Clear,
Okay.
sir, clear.
1 minute. So A will give 60% of 1 crore. So 60 lakhs. B will give 4 crores. Right. Assume that both the ships are having insurance. Ships A insurer has to bear 3/4 of the liability of A. Here liability of A is 60 lakhs towards B. So 3/4, 45 lakhs A will give, A's insurer will give. Remaining 15 lakhs will be given by P&I club. Okay. Now come to B. B's insurer will pay 3/4 of B's liability. B's liability is 4 crores towards A. So the ship's B's insurer will give 3 crores from insurance policy. Remaining 1 crore will be compensated by P&I club. Clear?
Yes, sir, clear, sir.
Okay. Next.
Sir, is piracy covered under marine health, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Piracy is automatically covered by health policy.
Good.
And there may be a question. If the cargo is damaged due to piracy, which policy will pay? ICCA, ICCB, ICCC, and no one will pay.
ICCA, sir.
sir.
How?
Sir,
Reason.
it is all risk policy.
Yes, it is all risk policy number 1. And piracy is not there in the exclusions. So naturally ICCA will pay. B and C will not pay. Because B and C are specified risk policies. Piracy is not there in the coverage. Okay.
Sir, terrorism covers under only SRCC or any other covers, sir?
SRCC. In marine cargo policy, terrorism is covered by SRCC. Be clear on that. There is no separate premium payable for terrorism. But if you pay SRCC premium, terrorism is covered with SRCC.
So adding to the piracy question, whether any rule is there like piracy should be on the shore or it should be in the mid of the sea or something like that?
Normally, fire will be in the sea only. When it
Piracy,
happens
sir,
on the
piracy.
shore, it may be termed as burglary or theft.
Okay.
Sir, you explained about deal torpedoes, that 60 days coverage. Could you please explain again?
You want to explain again?
Yes, sir, the torpedoes, 60 days
Okay,
coverage.
okay. So actually, war cover, we are mentioning that war cover is covered only when the goods are on water, not on land. Right? Even though the goods are on water, we are restricting our cover in some areas, sometimes, some circumstances. When suppose the ship reached the port, but the unloading operations are delayed even after 15 days. So our regular war cover is suspended after 15 days. if the goods are not unloaded. But still the goods are on waterborne. It is on the water. But specifically, the war clause suspends the war cover after 15 days when the goods are in the ship parked inside the port. Okay, this is first part. The client may ask, sir, regular war cover you are not giving, but this abandoned missiles or torpedoes, there may be lying below the port area, so that may explode and damage my ship. Can you give only cover for the delivered torpedoes, which are abandoned missiles? Yes, we can get a premium and cover only the cover of only the explosion of the abandoned missiles. That cover also can be given only for 60 days. Okay, only for 60 days.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir. Please explain abandonment under cargo policy.
Abandonment means normally you are leaving the title interest of the goods to somebody else. When the goods are not retrievable, or when the goods are burnt or stolen, the client may give you an abandonment notice. Notice of abandonment. That means I am not able to get back my goods, so I am abandoning the interest and title of the goods to you. So pay me the claim. The insurance company will go through the notice and they will see the circumstances. Really, if the goods are not retrievable and payable under the policy, they will pay the claim. But they will not accept the notice of abandonment. Why? Because if you accept the notice of abandonment, you are not only accepting the interest and title of the goods, you are also accepting the liabilities tied up with the goods. Suppose the goods is, for example, it is oil. Some oil slick is happening. So pollution hazard is there. So that is a liability that may be fixed on the goods owner at a later date. So actually, if you are accepting the abandonment means the liability will be tied up with the insurance company. The insurance company has to pay for those liabilities. So normally, abandonment notice will not be accepted by the insurance company, but it will settle the claim. So since notice of abandonment is not accepted, the liability is still lying with the goods owner only. Whatever liability comes afterwards, he has to take care of that. So abandonment, you just understand, not transfer of title and interest alone. Abandonment means it is transfer of rights, interest and liabilities. Right?
Thank you, sir.
Sir, in hull policies, when do we consider a claim as CTL, sir? Do we have any percentage on sum insured, sir?
No. CTL means 100% is agreed value policy. Whether ATL or CTL, it is
CTL.
100% constructed total loss, 100% of sum insured is payable.
Okay. Sir, there are some differences in previous editions of IC 67 and current edition, sir. Some points are missed out in the current edition.
Can you tell me one?
Like this coffee, tea for coffee, tea,
Sir, the
rubber, and all is
cardamom
there.
coffee.
Yeah.
Okay. Because earlier it was coming under tariff, so it was the wordings were common. Now it is de-tariffed. So maybe IRDA might have issued some changes. You go with the latest edition. Maybe I have not seen the latest edition. Can you please send me the changes if possible?
Sure, sir. I'll share it in the group.
Okay, please.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, could you please explain assignment of insurance and transfer of insurance? As it said, one does not follow another.
Can't understand. Assignment and transfer.
Sir, assignment and transfer, because it is said one does not follow another.
No, question is not clear. First of all, I will explain assignment. What is assignment means? It is irrevocable transfer. Irrevocable transfer of all the policy benefits to some other third person. Right? The best example I have given, it is assignment of life insurance policy when you are taking a housing loan. In the same way, assignment of marine cargo policy. Marine cargo policy is assigned to a third person who is buying the goods. You are assigning, right? So assignment is transfer of the entire benefits of the policy to a third party. After the assignment, the original person or insured don't have any role on that policy or on the benefits of the policy. What you mean by transfer, I don't understand. Transfer of benefits of policy under assignment. But transfer,
Sir,
yes. Yes, sir.
Sir, yes, same, sir. Sir, got it from your, sir. That.
Okay.
Yes.
Sir, there is a situation which I'll ask you. So there is a consignment which is coming from China and was kept in bonded warehouse. And the insured don't have money to pay the custom duty. And the voyage was in termination stage. What will be the consequences of this?
Actually, up to 60 days we have cover. Even when it is in bonded warehouse. After that, insured has to arrange for regular fire and burglary policy for the goods in the warehouse. Up to 60 days,
so
our marine policy will cover.
Even though if he's not paying dues also, it will be covered in the marine policy up to 60 days in the custom bonded warehouse.
Yes. Whether he is paying the customs duty or not, that is immaterial. We have to cover up to 60 days. No
Got
issue.
it, sir. Thank
you. Sir, in aviation, one small submission. Actually, the aircrafts which can land on both water and ground is called amphibian. The slide which shows, correct. The slide which you have shown is moored, M-O-O-R-E-D.
Moored means it is making the landing on water. The action is called moored.
No. Small submission. Actually, moored is lashing the aircraft with ropes and all to protect from the strong winds and all. So it is also called picketing.
Picketing.
Moored is nothing but lashing the aircraft with ropes and all to protect the aircraft from strong winds and all.
Okay, I will check, sir. I will check and clarify. Thank you.
Sir. Thank you.
Any other?
Sir, one more thing.
Yes.
Sir, for invoices issued on FOB basis, is it compulsory that every time the buyer has to avail the insurance, or can the seller take it?
No. Can't understand your question.
Like an invoice has been issued on FOB basis.
Okay.
So is it compulsory that every time the buyer has to take the insurance, or?
Sir, actually, when it is FOB, the responsibility of the seller is up to the point when the goods are loaded onto the ship. If something happens during this period, the buyer will not make payment. Okay. Suppose this seller is making insurance and the goods are loaded onto the ship. Okay. But the buyer is failing to take a policy. The loss happens After the loading into the ship, then the seller is entitled for the payment from the buyer. Even though whether he is taking our insurance or not, it is immaterial. Once the goods are loaded onto the ship under FOB, the seller is entitled for payment. It is up to the buyer to take insurance or not. It is up to him. Because insurance is not mandatory, no?
Okay. So if the buyer wants the coverage, he has to take a separate policy.
Yes. He has to take a separate policy.
So in this case, seller will take the policy on CFR basis or CAF basis, huh?
No. Actually, to decide who take to insurance is the basis. In the policy, we are not mentioning whether it is on FOB basis or CFR basis. It is immaterial, no? Actually, the invoice is on FOB basis only. That will not change till the goods reaches the destination. So this buyer also will take only the invoice which was issued on FOB basis. That will not change, no?
Okay, sir. And so one more thing, can you explain on that the marine coverage, which says that wording is there during the ordinary course of transit, storage during the ordinary course of transit.
Transit, yes. Which
so
means,
in case of intermediary storage,
yes.
My doubt is there was a practical issue also.
Yes,
in case
I understand your question. Actually, any intermediary storage is automatically covered, provided it is in the custody of the carrier. If it is in the custody of the insured, it goes, our cover ceases. Till the goods are in the custody of the carrier, any number of intermediate storages are covered. No problem.
Okay. So if like if a bulk cargo is coming from one port to the some other port, and from there it has to be delivered to the final buyer through land. So this bulk cargo in a ship, while being transported through land, it has to be transported through multiple lorries, so hundreds or thousands of lorries.
Okay.
So in this case, the storage may take 5 months or 6 months.
Yeah, that's why. Suppose it can be completed within 60 days. Our regular policy take care. Okay. If the storage they want an extension, they have to pay extra and make a request, and we can cover the extra days also. No problem. We can cover maximum up to 12 weeks. 12 weeks extended cover we can give by getting an additional premium.
But that consignment has to be in the custody of the carrier. Is it mandatory, or can it be in the custody of buyer?
No. When it comes to the custody of the buyer, our policy ceases. There is no cover.
Okay.
When it is the custody of any third person, it is okay.
Or if the intermediary custody is in the it is in the custody of the seller.
So seller or buyer, who is our insured?
Seller, sir.
Seller. So if it is in the custody of the seller, absolutely no cover, no problem. Suppose when the buyer is getting insurable interest, otherwise he cannot claim at all, right? I will give you an example. Suppose the policy has been issued from warehouse to warehouse basis, right?
Yes, sir.
The journey started. It has reached the last port. Once reached the last port, the policy, actually original policy issued in the name of the seller, right? But the buyer is making payment. So naturally, after getting the payment, the seller loses insurable interest, and he can assign the policy to the buyer, right? So now the buyer is becoming the insured. So when the goods are going into the custody of the buyer, our policy ceases. You can take this way, not as insured. When the goods are going into the custody of the person who is having insurable interest, our policy ceases. Right?
Okay, sir.
Sir,
what
can
is
you
last
please?
and not last basis?
Huh? Last or
Last
not
and-
last? Okay. Sir, actually, we cannot or we are not issuing any policy, cargo policy, once the goods have started its journey or its voyage. We cannot issue a policy. Marine policy has to be taken before commencement of the journey. Normally, specific voyage policy I'm meaning, right? Sometimes what happens, the goods are already in transit. It is owned by some person A, right? A person B is buying the goods when the goods are in mid-sea. This person B happens to be our important client. He is a very major client. He is getting insurable interest only when the goods are in mid-sea because he is buying the goods only when the goods are in mid-sea. We want to accommodate the client and he requests us to give us a specific voyage policy. Practically, it cannot be given. Theoretically, it is possible. You can issue a regular specific voyage policy with a last or not last clause attached. What this clause says, the policy is issued based on a declaration made by the insured person stating that he don't have any knowledge about the safety of the goods. He doesn't know the goods are safe or not. He believes the previous owner stating that the goods are in good condition, it is traveling. Based on the declaration, we are issuing the policy. Suppose in a later stage, if it is found the insured person was having a knowledge the goods have been already lost, then the claim can be rejected. Genuinely, if the goods owner do not have any knowledge about the damage or loss already happened, then we have to pay the claim. This is the last or not last clause. But we are not practically issuing, but the situation like I have mentioned, when an important client who is giving crores of business to us is requesting this small favor, we may consider with head office approval and all, we can issue the policy with this clause, last or not last clause.
There are two questions.
Ah.
Sir, first is in marine policy, arbitration clause is not there. But
Sir,
in practice,
sir, arbitration clause is there in all general insurance policies.
okay.
It is there.
Sir, can you please
Sir,
explain?
second, you.
Huh? Yes, sir.
The second thing is when the recovery rights is lost, we pay 75%. Whether, sir, it is a practice or in policy also such condition is there. Because
Collision
when the
liability,
insured goes to the
Which one, sir?
when the recovery rights are compromised, sir, when
Yes,
recovery
sir.
rights are
Sir,
compromised.
very simple. It is in the policy itself. When we don't have recovery rights, we can pay only 70%. We have to pay only 70%.
Because, sir, in practice, when insured goes to the court, they say in policy nothing is there.
It will stand, sir. It will stand. It will stand. Because we have mentioned in the policy. Policy condition is there. But nowadays, some brokers are asking, sir, we will give extra premium. Can you make 70% as 90%? Yes, we can do. Because now there is no tariff. Original tariff only says you have to settle only 75%. Now we can change the policy wordings and we can get extra premium and we may pay more than that also. 85%, 90% also we may pay, but we should get extra premium and we should mention it in the face of the policy. Then you can do that. If you are not getting extra premium and not mentioning means you have to set 70% only. Absolutely, it is correct as per policy conditions. even in court, it will stand.
Sir, in general average, there are three types are there, no, sir. Sacrifice, contribution, and expenditure. So please explain about that expenditure, sir. That is not clear, sir.
Sir, actually, contribution is different. General average is combination of sacrifice and expenditure. Sacrifice means throwing away of some heavier goods. You are sacrificing the goods to make the ship light, to reduce the weight of the ship, right? Expenditure means you are employing some labor, okay, to make the sacrifice. The labor you have to pay, no? So that is expenditure. Contribution means it is the amount payable by each cargo owner based on their sum insured. Suppose total value is 1 crore, total sacrifice made is 1 lakh, right? Total value of all the cargo is 1 crore. Sacrifice made is 1 lakh. My cargo is 2 lakhs. So I have to pay 2,000. That is called contribution.
Okay, sir. Sir, and one more query, sir. In ICC, that war coverage is there, no, sir. In that, there is an exception for transshipment is there, no, sir.
Yes.
For example, sir, I'm considering one transit from India to US. There is a transshipment at Singapore. So after reaching Singapore, there is a change in ship for continuing another transit. So from ship, they will unload the goods and they will be in that port. After that, they will load that to another ship.
Yes.
So if that is happening within 15 days, even though that goods are in land, that will cover under war.
War cover continues. If the goods are unloaded for the purpose of transshipment.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Shall we wind up?
Yes, sir. Sir, one doubt, sir. Actually, regarding that new book, I just want to ask. New book, there are literally some changes are there. Whether we need to follow for this examination, new book is 2025 edition.
Means when it was published?
2025, sir.
2025 means you can take that.
Okay, some changes are there. Content wise.
Because I don't know that such a new version has come. So I didn't see the book. Okay, I will try to see. If possible, please let me know the changes. Okay.
The essence are same, but some informatical changes are being given.
Basic coverage and exclusions may not change. Only some, yes, you said some information may be added. They have added.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And as well, sir, can you please explain that waterborne clauses relaxation during the time of the war and some transshipment you explained, sir. Can you please come again in that one?
Actually,
yes, sir. I can hear that one, but I can.
Okay. Okay. War cover is covered only when the goods are waterborne. When the goods are on land, the cover ceases. There is no cover. This is normal war clause, right? But when the goods are unloaded into the port area, only for the purpose of transshipment, not it is the last destination. If it is the last destination, when the goods are unloaded, our cover ceases. But the goods are unloaded for transshipment. Transshipment means it is not the destination, it is going to some other destination from this port. In this case, even though the goods are lying on the port's premises, it is covered. War cover is there.
Any other general relaxation, sir, during the time of waterborne process in?
No. No other relaxation.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, friends. Thank you. Thank you for patiently listening. And you can send your feedback to my mobile number by WhatsApp. You give your honest feedback so that I can improve in the coming classes. You can suggest also the ways to improve the session. Thank you and all the best.
Yes, sir.